G'day and welcome back to Torment, Tides of Ranmenera. Last time round we made it to the Bloom. We chatted with a number of people, agreed to do a few different bits and pieces, and now we're gonna finish talking to everyone in this area. Oh, and we inadvertently frustrated some previous plans of the Changing God, so that's all for the best. A pale, heavy-set merchant woman stands by an agitated Enine. Her eyes seem to have trouble focusing on you, and when they do, she drops them, her hands nervously adjusting the scarf around her neck. Need help? Can't think. I must. I'm Skady. Are you here to trade? Why are you wearing that heavy scarf? Their eyes meet for a moment, and then you almost think there's a pleading quality for them. Then they blaze with fury. That's none of your business. Leave it be, or just leave. As she speaks, he fiddles with the scarf again, and you notice splotches of blood on it. Scarf! I forgot. I put it on to hide. Nothing. It hides nothing. Persuasion. You have a little something. Let's see what you got for sale, actually, first. Before we do any of this, let's dump some of our older things. Amethyst Heart. I should have used that last time. That would have been quite helpful. Yeah, let's get rid of this. And the ring, nah. Let's get rid of the glass. Although that could still be useful for the heal, but I don't think we'll need it the same way. And, yeah. The 7th Slipknot also, I don't think we need that. Okay, what do you have for us? You got weapons, of which none are actually better than what we're currently using. And we've got what else? Oh wait, sorry. The one on the left is what I'm looking at. So we've got this shard, which we probably should get rid of at some point. Maybe we should get a light melee weapon of some description from her. All we need is, you know, her to actually sell one. A light ranged weapon? Maybe. Battle axe. No, she's not selling any light ones. Oh well, we'll be relying on other things. So Panacea could be quite useful. Still Mirror also could be quite useful. Ebon Eyes is a bonded artifact. No, sorry, Clockwork Strut. It's a bonded artifact which gives us quick fingering. Yeah. Gives us quick fingers, but less armor and less endurance. Maybe. Talisman of the Great Hierophant, +1 to max effort on all non-things. Yeah, that could be quite cool. Or, yeah. You know what? I'm just going to sell those things and be done with it. Yeah, we'll do that.
Can you tell me stories about your childhood, Maddie?
It's Matkina. And let me answer that with a question. Do you like nightmares?
No.
Then you probably don't want to hear my stories, Rin.
I do like the banter. Okay, now. Let's try to see under her scarf. You have a little something on your scarf? Right there under your chin? Invigorating conversation. I do. Where? The woman pulls the scarf from her neck to look at it, revealing jagged, still bleeding teeth marks on her throat. She sees you staring at them and realizes she's been duped. Dirty trickster! She snarls as she pulls the scarf tight again. Go, try your games on someone else. Please, just leave us alone. She glances at her Enine, eyes wide like a child with a guilty conscience. Just leave us alone. You realize the mark on her neck matched the blunt teeth of a large herbivore like her Enine. A large, agitated beast looms over you. It's an Enine, a beast of burden. These creatures are normally docile, but this one bares its teeth and snaps at you as you draw near. It rakes the air with its stubby claws. Examine it. Look! The beast has blood on its mouth and its mistress has blood on her neck. Eurydice's eyes widen. Foul Enine, feeding on your mistress like some sort of feeding thing. Eurydice strolls up. I'll handle this. Wait. Eurydice, punching it might not be the best option. Punching is always the best option, unless you can skewer. Skewering is even better. But please tell me your other exciting options. We could see if we could cure it. But that's what I was going to do. I was going to give it a fist injection. Alright, Fine, we'll do it your way. Touch the Anine. As you approach, it snaps its head forward, snarling. Try to pull back. So, apparently, instead, we've got Rin doing this, because we're a clever person. You jerk your hand back, and the Anine's jaw snaps shut, scant inches from your fingertips. Leave it alone. Chat with Skady. You know. I can help. Just tell me what's happening to you. And yeah, we just, like, never need to fail. Especially since invigorating conversation means if we succeed enough, we can get things. My Anine, it feeds on me. Suckles the blood from my neck. For some reason, I can't. No, I don't want to make it stop. But that's a lie. I do want it to stop. I think the bloom did this to my Anine, and to me, tied us together somehow. It's in our heads. I can hear it whispering to me. Fight the bloom, Skady. Concentrate on the whispers. Drown them out. Push them from your mind. You can see the woman struggle. Her whole body shakes. You faintly hear a whispering cacophony of sound, chittering, buzzing, lashing out in rage as it fights back. Then it falls silent. The merchant's eyes soften and focus. She shakes her head as if clearing it. I did it! The voices are gone. The Anine also shakes its head and settles back on its haunches. The merchant turns to you with clear eyes. Thank you. I don't know what was wrong with me. The bloom got in my head and changed my Anine too. I think she's back to her old self now. You come back any time you like. I'll give you a discount. It's the least I can do. Okay. So, now Docile Anine is just sitting there. We could get fancier stuff. Rin is not going to be being used for more checks. And Matt Keener can level again. That tipped her over. Let's increase her speed edge. Okay. Sounds good.
If you're sure it's safe.
Let's chat with Waits for Prey. A metal construct stands before you, silent and still. Its armor is pitted and ancient, spiked with metal thorns. Instead of arms, the construct has long, killing blades sharpened to a gleaming edge. What are you doing? I wouldn't talk to this monster. I've seen it kill some powerful people. And some powerful not people, too. Don't like the way it looks at me, either. You sense a mind inside the machine. It's a mind so alien that although you can hear it, you cannot understand its thoughts. So all these bones and armor on the ground, then? The construct stirs, a voice emanating from somewhere in its depths. It has a hollow, empty sound, as if it speaks from a vast cavern underground. Detritus of beasts and men, it is all that remains of those who sought to beat me. What do you know about Dracogen? He is a predator of sorts, but subtler than most. I have observed him as one hunter watches another from afar, but I cannot fathom what he truly wants. What he seems is not all that he is. What do you mean he isn't all he seems? No, the words I spoke were exactly what I meant. I got some other questions then. What are you doing here? Waiting for those who are strong and feared, for the predators who walk the bloom. They come here at times to challenge me. If I prove myself to a predator above all others, I believe that the bloom tongues will catch my scent. The clicks and hisses from inside the construct's armor suddenly go quiet. I wish to be devoured by the bloom. Have you not seen those who have passed through the gullet of the bloom? Every trace of who they were has been stripped from them. They are freed from the trappings of memory and self, reborn. So, killing things, big things, makes you more appetizing to the bloom? So I believe. I have observed the patterns of its hunger over many feeding cycles. It always preys on those who draw the attention of the bloom tongues. The greater the predator, the more powerful their victims, the more the bloom desires them. And I have killed so many. So many. I have torn beast and men asunder, leapt their bones and entrails to putrefy as an offering to the bloom tongues and to the bloom tongues? I guess that's not meant to have a space. and still it will not devour me. Why does it wait? I cannot know. Why do you crave rebirth? How many years have you lived? Only a few, judging by the firmness of your flesh. In that time, what horrors have you witnessed? Or perpetrated? Do they slip into your mind in unguarded moments? Perhaps they do. Whatever horrors you have seen, multiply them by 1,000, 100,000, across a vast, grinding millennia of wars. Now imagine you cannot forget, cannot even distract yourself with other memories. Do you know what I remember? Only those things that would make me a better killer. Every severed limb, every gout of heart's blood, every cruel execution before a cheering crowd, all else is lost. For that is how my creators fashioned my brain. That is why I crave rebirth and forgetfulness. So, you claim to be troubled by violent things you've seen and done, but you're a killing machine. Why should those things bother you? I have also pondered that question for all the years since I awoke in your world, also during the long aeons of my sleep. For centuries I felt no such revulsion at the memories of my past, but over time the horrors grew in my mind and in the minds of all my brethren. The construct pauses again, as if considering its next words. I have come to believe that our creators intended this. Perhaps they understood the terrors we could visit upon the world, and this was their way of ensuring we could not endure forever. If our foes did not destroy us, then we would be driven to destroy ourselves. I've never met anyone who's been eaten by the bloom and lived. Walk the innards of this city monster for long enough, and you will meet them. Even now I can taste the transdimensional footfalls of one man. You may find him in the vast interior space beyond the arterial openings there. Once he possessed a name that was well known in this place, before it was stolen by another. Now he walks alone, forgotten, without fear. Let's go with, I want you to kill me. This is not the first time I have heard such words from mortal. Perhaps I represent an easy death, a quick release for those who desire it. But I must disappoint you as I did the others. I will fight those who I deem a challenge. I will not kill without purpose. Alright, I don't want to actually fight you. That is a pretty cool guy. I don't really want to do anything else with any of the people here. So I guess the next step is to head out and see the sights. And my sound is getting a little funky, so we'll see if that continues. If it does, then we'll go to something else. So we'll not go, we'll relaunch the game. Alrighty, new map, new location. Oh, look at this. The corpse of an insect of gigantic proportions lies here. On closer inspection, you see it appears to be being absorbed into the wall.
I'm trying to figure you out. I've never met anyone like you.
Nor have I. Very well, you may continue staring.
Okay, so it looks like we've got a big old mouth in the way that's closed. Got Nanine, got caravan guards. Let's chat with Grisela, I guess, yeah. As you approach, you see two well-dressed merchants in heated conversation with a wiry man who's wearing an assortment of odd-looking leathers and hides. Upon seeing you, the wiry fellow shoos the merchants away and turns in your direction. Instead of feet, you notice he has two hand-like appendages fashioned from metal and synth. Indeed, both of his legs have been replaced by these artificial arms that appear remarkably flexible. Looking for the trading post. Used to be in there till the bloom got hungry and ate it. Still, at least I think this will happen. Never can tell with this big old sack of guts we call home. So, how am I meant to get to the Ascension? That's just what we were asking him. Only one way to the Ascension Gate, and that's through the trade post, like I said. Wiry man squints at the merchant as if daring him to push a little further. Surprisingly, the merchant looks away, the fight going out of him. You think you catch a glimpse of fear in the merchant's eyes, but you can't be sure. All this interest in the Ascension lately. Could the bloom have foreseen some? Not on the bloom like I do. Bet the trading post is still around here somewhere. Might find a more that'll take you there if you look hard enough. Bloom never closes off a path for long, but find it again, that's a whole other story.
Remember that.
Name's Gristler, by the way. Bloom Guide, Explorer and Scout. 3 times eaten by a bloom, still intact. Well, mostly. He wiggles the artificial hands on one of his feet. Where would I go looking for a more? Yes, to me, I could answer that question easy enough. Just tell you where to find him, where to lead, and what to feed him. But some's got the bloom all riled up, and she's opening and closing moors however she likes. He shakes his head disapprovingly, as if talking about his own disobedient child. Change is coming. Can smell it, figuratively, anyway. So if I was you, I'd try the darkest corners of this gut bag I could find. Dank and nasty place, where most like to rip themselves into being. Slum's a good place to start. Little Niliash and Chiurgin Slump. Foul little holes like that. He said the bloom is acting strangely. Do you know why? She's hungry for something, or someone. I can hear it in her voice, just like when a mole wants to eat someone. Only this time it's the whole bloom. Sort of thing used to scare me, it did. Probably still should. Wonder if the Mamavera knows who the bloom wants to eat. Bet she does. Got some questions about you. Did you say you were eaten by the guide? Let's have a look at his clothes. His garments are rough but reasonably well made, though the material is strange to you. It seems to be a type of leather, but it's thicker and heavier than any leather you've seen, and the colours are scabrous and ugly. Gristler catches you looking, and he nods. Tanned to bloom flesh, tough but strong. Old Sunderman made these. He waves a hand towards one of the walkways that leads off into the vast interior. Called yourself a bloom guide? That's right. Ain't nobody around here who knows the bloom as well as old Gristler. I hire myself out to fellas like these. He nods towards the merchants and get them where they need to go. Of course, I'm happy to give advice for free. Can't say I ever get tired of talking about the bloom or anything really. Did you say you were eaten by the bloom 3 times? Yep. First time, bloom ate me. She took my senses of smell and taste. It's fine, I told myself. Now I can eat all them foul-tasting vegetables people said were good, so good for me. Second time, bloom took me ability to feel fear. Why haven't I needed that for? Just kept me from doing things that make for good stories later. Third time, bloom took my legs. She was kind enough to cauterize the stumps though, so I wouldn't bleed to death. I met a couple of fellas in the slump and they fitted me up with these. He slaps the synth arms and now serving his legs. Truth is, I'm faster and nimbler now than I ever was, but I don't like to tell too many people they'd all be clamouring to swap their legs for a pair of arms. Why do you refer to the bloom as she? No, I must be because I'm always hearing a voice, like a whispery chittering sound. Tells me when she's hungry or full, happy or cross. Helps me know that sort of thing when I'm guiding folks through her guts. Seem rather nonchalant about this place. Well, been here for a long while, and the blooms ate my sense of fear, so there's that too. I like to think she's looking out for me. Sure, she takes a little part of me now and then, but life does that to all of us, don't it? Well, maybe not so literally, but you know what I mean. Okay, I have other questions. Nah. Let's not ask the obvious one. Okay. So I guess we go left or right. Let's see. If you do this, to Little Niliash and to Trading Post. Let's see what's over this one.
All right.
A blister of flesh protrudes from the ground, an irritated, angry pustule. It's almost entirely opaque, but you see the faintest hints of movement within. You study the movement within the cyst closely, as if in response to your curiosity, a shadow of clawed hands at the interior of a hand closes at the interior and vanishes. Someone or something is trapped inside the cyst. Let's touch it. You feel something pressing against your mind, a sharp presence like the thought of pain thrusting its experience into your own imagination. As your fingers touch the flesh of the cyst, the memories come pouring in, flooding your memories with emotions of lives you've never lived, stories from countless lives lost in the bloom. You reach out for a random memory in this swirling maelstrom, and its particulars become immediately, shockingly clear. After what seems like hours of flight, you may have found a way to elude the older girls. You swallowed your pride and buried yourself in the mound of refuse of Little Niliash. Nearly the smell of rotting food and putrid meat filling your nose. Better this than to suffer the abuse they likely hand out. Buried as you are, you can only hear them as they approach. Where'd that little robot go? She demands one. She's standing right in front of you. She's breathing hard. From the rage in her voice, you know the beating will be a savage one. At least 4 of them are looking for you, but you know, deep down, if you don't stand up to them at some point, this will just keep happening. Hold your breath and keep still. The hunters kick desultorily around the trash, one of them coming heart-stoppingly close to your body. You hold your breath, tense to run away, and one of them calls out, Miracle! Over here! I think she went this way! You hear their footsteps race off. When they vanish from your hearing, you open your eyes and climb stinking from the heap. You wake from the vision, your body shaking involuntarily from the experience. A moment later, you're reoriented in your own flesh. You find yourself once again standing before the massive cyst in the bloom. You kept your host safe, but you sensed that wasn't what was needed here. This vision and the others contained within it are a lock of sorts. To open it, you will need to suffer. You will need to become prey. Try again. Please, you whisper, hands raised, clean white dust, untouched by the taint of the bloom, cakes your slender fingers. I worked for years on the sculpture. I've molded it with beams and chisels and with my bare hands when my tools ran dry. This is the only thing in my life that has meaning. Something in the stone is calling to me. It needs to be given shape. I know that, says the man who used to be friend. I've seen what it's done to you. Holds a large hammer in his hands, his fists are shaking. You've changed ever since you brought this hunk of rock back from that other world. You've changed. It's not art that compels you. There's life already in that thing, and it's using you to get out. And I'm here to stop it. You won't ruin my creation. Step aside. This is your last warning. And I will destroy it. If I have to go through you, I will. I'll protect the sculpture with my life. It's my creation. As you wish. This hammer is faster than you would believe. Then you would have believed. A blast of bones in your hands to powder. You fall back, the pain following, and he strikes at the statue directly. The first shot elicits a high-pitched shriek from the stone, and you throw yourself in front of the sculpture to prevent another one from landing. Don't make me... He never finishes the sentence, but swings again. Your shoulder collapses with a wet crunch. You embrace the statue, shielding it from the hammer. After a few blows, he focuses entirely on you, grunting and growling. Blood spatters the stone beside your cheek. At last, you topple bonelessly on the ground and watch as he reduces your masterpiece to a pile of rubble and splinters. You struggle to summon a single breath, a single sob. When the blackness comes, you're welcome to it. You return to your own mind with the death of your host, and knowing that what you saw, what you felt was true. The life you lived was full, rich, and ended here in the bloom. Your host's remaining moments were saturated with pain. Your muscles still twitch with the memories of agony, and your suffering bleeds into the cyst, loosening its fleshy fibers. It seems the bloom has sealed something within the cyst, and your agony is a key that will set it loose. Let's keep going. You steel yourself for another memory of pain and reach out to touch the cyst again. Again, unwritten memories, and you lose yourself among them. A world of senses explodes into your mind. You know instantly that you're in an abandoned cavity deep in the bloom. You hear moisture beating on the threaded veins over your head, and the chittering of other creatures that share this space with you. Your sight is limited and blurry, but a profusion of colors explodes across your vision, and you associate each with a smell. And the smell, it's a warring kaleidoscope of rich inputs that instantly categorize themselves in your mind. Food, fetid warmth, family, and shelter lie ahead, beneath the base of a thick, outflung tentacle. It's a burrow opening, just the right size for your tiny body. The globules of bloom flesh in your cheeks will sustain your brood for days, but then the wind shifts, and a sharp scent freezes you in your step. Fear suffuses your mind, and you realize that death is at your heel. Rush for your burrow. You bolt on your 4 feet, burst of adrenaline, powering your tiny muscles as the creature behind you snaps and snarls at your fleeing tail. You leap into the burrow, and the monster claws and scratches at the opening behind you, its frill head blocking the light. But it cannot get in after you. The creature stalks the perimeter and waits hours for you to emerge, but you never do. Eventually it snarls and pads away. So yep, that didn't work. New memory. Your head's throbbing and aching. It feels like it's going to split wide open. You're trying to retreat from the battle for this region of the bloom, holding a tower of iron will against your Scion foes, but they batter at it ceaselessly, and you feel your defenses crumbling. If you strike back, you can save your allies, but you'll open yourself up to your enemy's minds. You saw what they did to Alito. Every pore in his body started leaking blood. His screams are still haunting you. Drop your defenses and strike! The moment your shields fall, they pounce on you, feeding you psychoses and traumas dredged up from your ancestral primitive past. They start to tear apart your concept of self, placing illusions of love lost and lives lived that are not your own. They whip you with empathy, and you feel a backdoor attack on your psychomotor functions. The agony is exquisite. Use the pain and rage to lash out at the weakest mind. Then you realize you are fighting a hive consciousness. You cannot defeat these creatures, united as they are. Your only hope is to defend yourself or one of your squad mates, but only one of the 10 can survive the concerted attack of the mind. Keep striking back. Maybe you can distract the hive long enough. You strike, and you strike, and you strike again. You channel your fear into a devastating blow aimed at the heart of the nest. But the energy vanishes. You think. Lines of control snake through your body, dominating you and painting new truths on your mind. Each silver-thin thread draws a universe of pain through your exposed nerves. As your mind slowly dies, your foes show you the bodies of your fallen comrades. Not one escaped. They died in agony. So do you. Consciousness calls you back to its arms, and you find yourself aching emotionally and physically from these experiences. Your muscles throb, and the cyst again responds to the pain. It loosens further. Another memory. How many of these did they write? It's empty. As you gaze through the faint shimmer and the ripple of force field down the red vein tunnel into the pulsating black, it looks empty. You know it is now. You feel the eyes upon you, the hungry eyes, but you feel no fear. You feel emptiness within you, under a scab you want to pick. Examine the emptiness within you. You remember her laughing face. You remember her closing her eyes, the tentacles of her hair writhing around the back of your head, pulling you in for a kiss. You remember her delighted laughter when you told her you'd found a lost settlement at the end of a quiet tunnel in the bloom, untouched by scavengers, a fortune lying on shelves and in neat crates. You remember leading her by the hand. The pain rises. Your hand strokes the force field's controls. What happens? Keep digging through the memory. You don't want to remember, you don't, but you go deeper anyway. You'd installed the shield to protect your find from other explorers, but when you fled the ruins and the shrieking things beneath, it was the shield that saved you. You, not her. You saw them fall on her 10 steps from safety, pale claws, blood-painted, screams from beneath the seething pile. So much blood, and she never stopped screaming. Finally, you raised the shield, and only then did silence fall. You look at your hand hovering over the shield controls. For all you know, she could still be screaming down there in the ruins. And it's all your fault. The life you're going to build together is gone, erased. You just have one more thing to do. Join her. Open the force field. Your hand slides across the controls and you deactivate the screens. Silence follows. She's not still screaming. You feel a moment's relief. Countless nightmares lied to you after all. Take a single step into the dark. Another, and then they swarm up the tunnel and fall on you, biting and clawing and chewing and shrieking after endless agony. Blackness claims you. The ache in your heart has become familiar, even as the sorrow and heartbreak seem new and fresh each time. Different facets of the same emotion, each refracted through a new experience. The cyst fibers twitch again, loosening one final time, revealing a frail angular creature trapped inside. It bursts out of the cyst, leaving a glittering object behind in its haste to escape. Ah! Okay. Wacky. Another cyst is disgorged as prisoner. The husk looks hollow, defeated. Examine the remains. Something catches your eyes. A piece of sharp metal protrudes from just underneath a fold of decaying bloom flesh. You cannot begin to guess its function, but it's small and easy to carry. You slip it into your pouch. You found this object inside a ruptured bloom cyst. It's made of azure steel and resembles the hilt of a small knife, but the blade is missing. The device is inert because it lacks power, but its potential energies are great. Tapped and conducted through strange dimensions, it would require an appropriate power source to reactivate the missing blade. Neat.
I'll remember that.
The creature within the cyst was an abacus, a being that feeds on transdimensional energies. Assuming it was in the cyst for any length of time, it must have been surviving by draining energy from the object you just found. A closer examination of the object should tell you more. And anything else? No. Completely empty.
Let's go, all. You and me.
So we can talk to Slenderman, which has, I guess, sell clothing here. Oh, there's a weird frog statue woman thing. Nice. This is a really cool look. I definitely will give it that. And then there's these things as well. So I'll probably play around with this a bit more next time. Until then, have a great day. Bye. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you spending the time and effort watching the videos I make. If you'd like to watch more, on the left there should be another video from this playlist. On the right there will be whatever YouTube recommends, and in the center there is a convenient subscribe button just in case you need it.